Seems to be in Italy, where Formula One feels at true fever pitch. 103-year-old Monza is one of sport's great theatres. Across its decades, it's witnessed triumph, tragedy, and everything in between. Yesterday, the famous Temple of Speed saw Max Verstappen drive the fastest ever qualifying lap in the history of the World Championship. It's a special day. Good afternoon and welcome to the Italian Grand Prix. It's 3.6 miles, 5.7 kilometres, and 11 corners officially, but there's 3 chicanes and 3 right-handers. Defining corners at a famous old racetrack. The start about 5 minutes away. It's going to be crucial which tyre you use in the Grand Prix. The C5, the C4 and the C3 are the compounds available to those in the field. Over a century of speed at Monza, it is time for the 16th Grand Prix of the season. And here's the starting grid with 2 in the pit lane. Pierre Gasly, former winner around here, and our most recent podium finisher, Isaac Hadjar, who finally exited Q1 as a Formula One driver for the first time and elected to start from the pit lane as well. Liam Lawson is 18th in the last car on the grid. He's next to Franco Colapinto. Lance Stroll has been on the podium here in the past. He's 16th today, next to Esteban Ocon in the Haas. Next up, the Williams pair, dreaming of the top 10. They're 13th and 14th, and Carlos Sainz is the lead Williams on the grid. Next up, Nico Hülkenberg in 12th, next to Oliver Behrman, who's dreaming of points, but he says he's lacking straight line speed, which is the key element of this racetrack. Lewis Hamilton takes a 5-place penalty and drops down to 10th. It's Yuki Tsunoda in 9th position for Red Bull. Fernando Alonso next to the driver that he's part of the management team of, Gabriel Bortoleto, a fine 7th on the grid for Sauber. And then it's Kimi Antonelli, 19 years of age. He's first ever Formula One Italian Grand Prix. He's next to George Russell, who wanted a different tyre, didn't get it, and had to settle for 5th position. Charles Leclerc won this Grand Prix from 4th last year. Oscar Piastri was epic on the opening lap 1 year ago to take the lead. Lando Norris is looking for similar inspiration today. What a lap, what a story. A fitting driver to have the fastest lap in Formula One history. Max Verstappen with an average speed of 164.4 miles per hour. It is such an interesting grid, and we are so well poised for the race ahead. In the commentary box, I'm Alex Shakes. Next to me, Jodie Palmer and David Coulthard. DC, you're a former winner around these parts. It is an epic Grand Prix Sunday.
It is indeed. The Tifosi out in strength, and well, not the most popular victories when you're driving for McLaren Mercedes, but nonetheless one that I really savoured. And as Julian knows, it's whether you have a competitive car or not, there's something magical about disappearing down past the start-finish straight, well over 200 miles an hour, past the sea of red as it often is. But then you kind of go into the peace and tranquility of the forest, because we're in a park.
It's old school and traditional, isn't it? It's the feeling you're driving around here. The track's actually pretty narrow. The speeds are very high, but you do go off into the park now. The trees are overhanging and it's atmospheric to drive. It's also difficult to drive because everyone's trimmed out the downforce here, and the cars are on the edge the whole way through at high speed. Plenty going into this, but I just love the history of this place.
It was a historic pole position yesterday. We could today have the fastest ever Grand Prix in terms of the time. 1 hour, 14 minutes and 19 seconds. It's the fastest ever. You saw the trophy that they're fighting for. It's a beautiful one, fitting of the occasion that we have today. It's been a brilliant atmosphere all the way through, and we are nearly ready to clear the grid, to look to the gantry, and we await the formation lap. Drivers have had their reconnaissance laps to the grid.
Script,
you're looking through the
intro,
haze.
the showdown. Hey everyone, Josh
degrees.
here, and today we're diving into one of the most underrated V8 powered roadsters that proves raw power and luxury aren't dead. If you want a two-door top-down V8 experience,
he leads the field off the line for a 5th time this season on pole.
Yeah, and what a beautiful lap it was, and you can tell how much it meant to him in a season where he knows more than likely he won't carry that #1 come the end of the season. It's going to fall to one of the McLaren drivers. But just sticking us in the cockpit here right now, I used to love this moment on the formation lap, because whether you'd qualified on pole or whether you'd had a bad day and you were at the back, it resets full of the optimism that racing drivers have. You go off thinking, I can do this today.
And it's time to blank out the noise, isn't it? When the tyre blankets come off, the crowd's clear from the grid, and it's just you now with 6 kilometres pretty much to get the tyres into gear, to get your brain into gear for the race start, and think, right, how am I going to clear some cars ahead on the race start? Quite a long run down to the first corner. It's possible to overtake. It's a big braking zone, but it's very narrow as well. So further back, it really bunches up. McLaren have told Lando that if he wants to win the race, the best chance is the first lap. It's not that easy to overtake around here afterwards. So will he go aggressive, or will he still have half an eye on Oscar behind, because there's a race victory, but there's a championship victory at stake?
Do you look ahead? Do you look behind? It's the first time since the Miami Grand Prix earlier this year that these two have shared the front row. They had a lap after lap battle. Lando Norris can't afford to get locked in to something like that today. As we look at the previous winners, you've got Charles Leclerc there from last year as they make their way to the line. Worth saying, we were wondering about the strategy. The top 12, the top 13, all on the medium tyre.
Yeah, it looks a pretty much set in stone one stop this year, so there's none of Charles Leclerc's magical strategy antics to win this one last year. Everyone's kind of learned from that, and it's a really long pit stop because the speed on the straight is so high, so no one will be coming in twice unless there's a safety car. It's got to be some pure racecraft, I think, and the first lap is the best place to showcase that.
Well, that's good for us, because they've got to get on with it. And as much as it counterintuitively, you'd think Lando would want to be cautious next to Max, could his real competitor is Oscar, he needs the points for a victory.
Nico Hülkenberg has been told to box to retire the car. The driver, who was due to start in 12th position, has been told he's got a critical failure and he'll have to come in. We go on board with the Sauber driver, who's out before it's even begun.
The disappointments.
Oh man, you serious?
I think I would have done a slightly more disappointed voice than that, Nico. But maybe there's an opportunity for them to do a little reset. Let's see whether they go to work. It doesn't look like it.
Hearing it's a hydraulic issue, that would be terminal for Hülkenberg. A shame for him, starting 12th.
So we have 2 in the pit lane, now 3 in the pit lane, 1 retiring. We've got Hadjar and Gasly going to the end. And we now find ourselves with 17 drivers left on the grid, the last of which is Liam Lawson. You've got to remember to slot into the right grid spot. There's an empty 12th place, at least there should be, if they're following protocol. It's a key first lap. 34 points between the 2 McLaren drivers in the World Championship. We await the green flag at the back. There it is. The revs rise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights in Monza. And the Italian Grand Prix is underway. Max Verstappen looking across at Lando Norris. He's got the inside line and they're wheel to wheel. They're side by side. He's on the grass, Lando Norris, trying to take the lead of this one. Taking the widest possible line. Will they make it through? Max Verstappen goes off the road, keeping the lead. Will they all make it through behind? Lando Norris will claim that he stayed on the racetrack and that he deserves the lead. Up to 3rd position goes Charles Leclerc. He's gone past Oscar Piastri. Piastri can pass at this corner.
Oh man, you serious?
Goes Charles Leclerc. He's gone past Oscar Piastri. Piastri can pass at this corner.
Oh man, you serious?
Lando needed to get his car up the inside there as Charles again with Oscar side by side through the first Lesmo.
And this time it's Piastri roaring back to take the place, crucial for his chances of winning the Grand Prix.
Yeah, what's this idiot doing? Come on. He's put me in the grass and then he's just got the ball.
Right, so Piastri's just done a move I've never seen before in my life around the outside of Lesmo 1. How has he done that? Verstappen will get a penalty for that. It's the same thing as what happened, I believe, in Saudi. He cut the corner, kept the place. Norris kept it on the road. And this time, once again, Max keeps the place. So that has to be a penalty coming for Verstappen.
It's been noted. Give back the position. The shout on the radio. They want to negate it. And there's going to be a change of lead. Lando Norris got a great getaway. We'll see it again. Max Verstappen is told to give the position back to Lando Norris, who takes the lead. And as we go on, is there a chance now for Charles Leclerc to come back? Piastri all over the back of Max Verstappen. He went deep in the first turn. Look at Charles Leclerc attacking out. They're racing side by side. Pass and repass at Monza, and Charles Leclerc goes back past. Extraordinary battling for 3rd position, and Piastri's trying to go back, and that gap disappears. DRS is now enabled. We didn't need it. Norris out front.
Yeah, as predicted, Max made that as tricky as possible for Lando, who's now broken away a little bit, but absolutely textbook brilliant racing from the three cars behind.
Yeah, so Verstappen really bunched up the two behind, and Leclerc took full advantage. The Ferrari's really quick in the straights, so he had the speed, and then once he managed to get off side by side with Piastri from the first chicane, was always going to outrun the McLaren up towards the second chicane. So that magical pass is completely undone the very next lap, and this is now a perfect scenario for Norris.
Yeah, what's this idiot doing? Come on. He's put me in the grass and he's just got the calls.
He's giving us fireworks here. The Ferrari ahead for the moment. Can Oscar Piastri pinch past? He's being very, very cautious at this point, but Leclerc goes deep, and now Piastri trying to go past. That door is closed once again. Is the momentum for George Russell behind?
Yeah, look, that was a bit optimistic between the first and second part of that chicane, and he's cost him a little bit of performance.
Look at Bortoletto. Look at Gabriel Bortoletto, who made one place on the opening lap, trying to go past George Russell. He's amazing around this place, and Russell gets the elbows out to maintain the position.
All the while, Verstappen is right with Norris again at the front of the race. So Verstappen's keeping Norris right on his toes. Leclerc's dropping away and clearly making his car very difficult to pass for Piastri. Again, the straight line speed is proving to be quite the defensive weapon as everyone else flings open their DRS down towards Ascari.
Antonelli got a poor start, he got a poor getaway, lost 4 places. That's why Bortoletto's up 1 along with Alonso. Hamilton gained 2 places. There's a lot going on at the start of this one.
Yeah, I'm saying Hamilton's right in play there, so we're thinking it would be Alonso.
Hamilton gained 2 places. There's a lot going on at the start of this one.
Man, Leclerc's all over the place on the braking. Had to avoid him.
And Verstappen is within half a second of Norris, who has to get a good exit off this corner.
Let's see the leaders, shall we? We're looking, yeah, here we go, through the heat haze. And this is Lando Norris having to look in the mirror. Max Verstappen inching closer. He wants to retake the lead of this Grand Prix that he had to give up. Inside line for Lando Norris, roaring around the outside. Will they make the corner? Unbelievable move to take the lead for Max Verstappen.
Sorry for the noise on the mic. I was holding my breath there. I could see that all going wrong, but absolutely brilliant pass around the outside and well avoided from Lando Norris.
Majestically measured from Verstappen, wasn't it? Has the low downforce, has the straight line speed, but then also manages to get the car stopped around the outside. I thought Norris was going to plough into him in the apex, and they both managed to get through there. So Verstappen is back into the lead. Meanwhile, Leclerc cut the corner behind as well, still defending from Piastri.
Yeah, so difficult to do at this stage of the race. Full of fuel and big speed into the braking.
He needs to give that back. He went to defend and went long.
Yeah, we saw.
So Piastri not happy, but the news is slightly better out front. Verstappen, that was the lap, that was the key lap. Could you stay within DRS? Could you make the pass when it counted? He could, and that was so brave. We nearly had a repeat of 2021 when he clashed fighting Lewis Hamilton that day.
Yeah, he just measured the brakes better than Norris there. Norris had the, he was behind, but had the downforce to theoretically be able to brake later. As you see, Piastri sliding through Parabolica in the dirty air. He might have another chance coming up this time.
Yeah, but Charles is defending the inside beautifully. So we see there Oscar in the distance with his DRS wide open. Looks as if he's going to come a bit later this time, so Charles doesn't need to defend.
Fastest lap of the race for Max Verstappen. In the background, there's a move to the inside for Lewis Hamilton, getting past his old rival Fernando Alonso. Hamilton up to 7th position.
Verstappen's managed to move more than a second clear of Norris as well, so having given up the place, his race pace looks really good and he's made the clinical difference.
Yeah, so that initial launch you can see in that mid-phase, that's where Lando was able to get alongside Max, and then he just drove his straight line. Now, Lando was saying, look, he drove me on the grass, but in fairness to Max, he just drove the straight line. He was always going to try and run it round the outside on the brakes, but didn't get away with it this time.
And he got the call on the radio to give the position back for that moment. We'll continue with the start replay, and we'll see Oscar Piastri and Charles radio to give the position back for that moment. We'll continue with the start replay, and we'll see Oscar.
He needs to give that back. He went to defend and went long.
Yeah, we saw.
At the Lesmo.
Yeah, would have caught Leclerc by massive surprise. Caught me by surprise in the booth. I thought, no way, you're going to be run off into the gravel, but he kept it.
You let the brakes go, right? This.
but he was down the inside with his front of his car more than alongside the mirror, so it was fair game now.
Big moment for Oscar Piastri. Needs this position back to go and fight up against his title rival, trying to do what Verstappen did a few laps ago, and Piastri powers by. He retakes third in this never-ending battle with Charles Leclerc and immediately tries to break the slipstream and break away from the Ferrari.
Yeah, you've got to just acknowledge how difficult that is when you're trying to go around the outside of someone. You're trying to leave space for them just in case they lock up, but not that much space that you compromise your exit. So there's some beautiful driving happening.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if Piastri was about to blitz through that runoff area at the first chicane because he was so much later on the brakes there than Leclerc. But again, the difference in downforce, the McLaren has the cornering speed, the Ferrari has the straight line speed. And now the shackles are off for Piastri. What sort of pace does he have? Because he's just been boxed in behind Leclerc. He's now got 3 seconds to go and chase Norris. And just the straight line speed. And now the
You let the brakes go, right?
The degradation of the tyres is less this year than we've seen in previous Monza Grand Prix, but that would have taken its toll on the tyres, having to work so hard to get past Charles Leclerc.
How are we on lap 6 and the top 5 is as they started? How has that happened?
I feel a lot has happened since the start of the Grand Prix to get back to where we started. Some brilliant passing, repassing, incredibly brave moves to go around the outside into the first chicane. You're risking your entire race or having to go through the gravel at that point. Lewis Hamilton wants another place. The crowd's cheer will tell you that he's got it up to 6th position. And Hamilton having a very old-school Lewis Hamilton race. He's been super aggressive so far. He's a 5-time winner of the Italian Grand Prix. He's picking cars off at will.
Yeah, look, this is great to see, isn't it? Hamilton, he's clearly comfortable and confident with that car. You could say it's easy pickings for some of them because he's out of place, of course, after that 5th-place penalty. But very soon, he's going to be all over the back of George Russell.
So Leclerc's got no pace, has he? When you see what Hamilton's doing, well, he's almost negated his 5th-place grid penalty now, getting back to where he qualified, which was just ahead of Russell in 5th. And Leclerc is actually being reeled in by his teammate, who's carving his way through the field as he goes. So one Ferrari's on the attack, the other one's just looking in his mirrors, and now you can see George Russell just trying to be a menace in the braking zone of Ascari, just trying to put Charles Leclerc off.
It's lap 7 of 53, and it has been action-packed stuff so far. A controversial first corner. A decision made by Red Bull to move Max Verstappen out of the way. That instantly deleted any investigation that could have happened as a result. That disappeared, is worth saying. They were also looking at race control into Lewis Hamilton leaving the track and gaining an advantage. That's been waved away as well. As we look at George Russell in the Silver Arrow, trying to get past the Ferrari. Ferrari running in a slightly altered livery, paying tribute to the great Niki Lauda, who won the World Championship at this venue for Ferrari 50 years ago. So Hamilton has cleared the cars that he would have expected to get past. Now, can he get past his old teammate? It'll be interesting to see. Hadjar has just got past Colapinto further down the order. Both Hadjar and Gasly did join the Grand Prix. It was a terminal problem for Nico Hülkenberg, who is the only retired.
So one of the things that I find particularly interesting about this racetrack, having such long straights, you have a lot of time to think. You know, you're just flat out, you're making sure your shifts are spot on, but you're more, let's say, engaged with the sort of strategic thoughts of the race than you would be in Monaco, where you're just so busy trying not to crash that you leave that up to your engineer. So Julian, you know, put us in the cockpit here. When they're on the straights, they're not sort of grinding their teeth. They're spatially looking at everything as Hadjar thinks about using the grass and then has to go down the escape road.
Yeah, that space wasn't going to open up on the outside there for the man that started from the pit lane. So you start to think, firstly, what are the tyres doing? As we see, Russell's going to be attacking Leclerc after this corner as well. What are the tyres doing? How much more life have I got left in them? It's one stop and it still looks to be that way as Verstappen does the new fastest lap, showing they're still in. And then you think, how can I make the strategy work for me? But at the moment, Verstappen out front is just doing the job. He's clearing away 4 tenths quicker than Norris on the last lap. So if you're Lando, you're thinking, actually, I'm pulling away from Oscar. I'm not fast enough to catch Max. This is heading towards a lonely race unless he's just saving the tyres.
At the moment, oh, what a critical couple of laps that unfolded in front of us there. When Piastri was down in 4th, where Norris had the lead, Verstappen stayed within DRS, made the pass back again. We're looking at the different lines between Leclerc and Russell.
I'm sure Norris had cleared the DRS in that first lap where Max gave him the place back. Suddenly we looked and saw that Lando was way checked out of that battle, and then it was 2nd, 3rd and 4th all running together. suddenly Max must have done a magical half a lap, because suddenly he was right back there with Lando, and Charles was a good couple of seconds away.
Yeah, I think the team's mentality was the way we win this race is to control the pace, and you're not going to do that running around in second. So I think that Max has gone all in once he's round, let Lando overtake him, and taken a risk and taking more out of his tyres and more out of everything else that he's got at his disposal to regain control of this race.
He's not backing off now, though. Still hammering in the fastest laps, one after another. Dropping Norris 3 seconds now, the gap.
Yeah, another fastest lap for Max Verstappen. Esteban Ocon has a 5-second penalty for forcing another driver off the road. We'll bring you that in a few moments. George Russell trying to improve his position. Top 5 in the order that they left the grid, and you can see the confidence to close up, but not close enough to try and force a defensive move from his rival ahead.
It's amazing what the off-board shots do compared to when you jump on board. I was thinking this is going to be the chance for Russell. We jump on board, he's like 6 car lengths back. A lot of work for him to do. Again, coming up towards the second chicane, closer there, but even though he's got more downforce sliding a little bit through that first apex, the Ferrari is quick in the straights, and DRS for George, and he's still not able to get there.
Okay, this is Esteban Ocon up against Lance Stroll. We're heading to the Roger, and this is the second chicane on the racetrack on the second lap. And Stroll, judged to be forced off the road by the stewards, and that's a 5-second penalty for Esteban Ocon.
Okay, well, I guess they defined that there wasn't a car's width, which is the understanding you should leave a car's width. But in fairness, it was all done under braking, wasn't it? It wasn't like they were side by side going into the braking zone.
It was a pretty ambitious attempt that Lance was trying to pull off there. But I agree, it must be that, you know, he didn't have the space to try and get there. Let's not get into the decisions of the stewards for a car trying to overtake around the outside this weekend, shall we?
Let's just enjoy the Tifosi, enjoy Monza, and enjoy the strategic battle play out. No one's really making a big break for it. Verstappen clearly is the only one that's deciding to really push his tyres. You know, have they mentally decided they're going 2 stops here?
But he must be feeling great, because he's pushed them to get back to Lando. He's now he's reeling off the fastest lap. This is metronomic Max at his best here, having made the clinical pass. He's building up the gap. He is another 4/10 quicker than Norris on the last lap. You don't do that if you're thinking the tyres are fragile. You do that if actually you're thinking, I know this is a 1 stop, but I'm feeling great. We're going to be looking for a pit stop in the next maybe 5 laps, maximum 10. So let's just hammer it out and build the advantage.
He also gives himself the opportunity. He's not under any big pressure to make an early stop. And just looking at the spread of the cars, there's no obvious gap there right now. The whole field actually is moving around pretty much as one.
Yeah, it'd basically come out last if he was to pit now. It's a long pit stop. It's 24 seconds to make a stop, because everyone else roars out of Parabolica and has so much speed that when you're just trundling through that pit lane on the right-hand side at 80 kph, you can see the difference there. It is massive. So you kind of got to wait for some of the other runners to make the pit stop so you don't emerge into the traffic, which would be McLaren's best hope right now. But Red Bull are too good to let that happen. And whilst Max is churning out the fastest laps, he's done another one. 3 more tenths he's pulled out on Lando. I think that's 5 in a row he's knocked out.
Reveling in being back at the front of a Formula 1 Grand Prix. Remember his prediction earlier in the year, he won't win another race this season. That came across the Hungarian Grand Prix weekend. They were downright uncompetitive, and he wasn't even the lead Red Bull-owned car across the line in that Grand Prix. Suddenly, different type of racetrack entirely. You knew as soon as we got out of Friday practice and he was happy, he'd be a contender this weekend.
Okay, Esteban, we have a 5-second penalty for forcing Stroll of the track in lap 2.
And that track gets narrower there, so there was no space, that's it.
Yeah, I understand. Nothing we can do.
Yeah, I think that will be another one for the Grand Prix Drivers Association meeting at the next Grand Prix, as to when do you define that the car has earned the right not to be forced off the track. You can't just sort of dive bomb one side or the other, but we shall find out in the future.
Yeah, otherwise you start heading for a gap that's always going to shut, don't you, if you're coming from a long way back in the braking zone and try and force the penalty.
George Russell, 0.6 of a second away from Charles Leclerc. He's been in that position for a while. Hasn't been able to get Leclerc to do anything vaguely defensive. Hasn't had to at any point. Looking at Carlos Sainz just running out of the slipstream of the Haas in front of him. Now thinking about temperatures on a day like today. Sainz unable to make the impression. You've got plenty of drivers here trying to make the pass in what we call a DRS train. That train is headed by Gabriel Bortoleto, currently P7. That would be another strong result for him in his rookie season of Formula 1. But a venue that he loves anyway, because last year in Formula 2, he went from last to first. 22nd to the win, called it his best day in motor racing.
I think that would do it.
He loves anyway. Running through the second chicane to Lesmo corners at the start of the Grand Prix. We saw that move from Oscar Piastri. That was because of Charles Leclerc's momentum being checked by Lando Norris, who tried to repass Max Verstappen. Incredible passing and repassing. They were all told, they were all clearly told, they were all acutely aware how defining the start of this Grand Prix was going to be. Ultra aggressive from everyone at the very start in a way that you just wouldn't see if there were strategic options today. The teams calling the right lap is going to be crucial. The projection before we started the Grand Prix, lap 22, the earliest possible sensible time to come in and get rid of your medium tyres. Take on the hards that take you to the end of the Grand Prix.
I mean, it really goes to show how important that move from Piastri was on Leclerc as well, because this Ferrari is not easy to pass. Leclerc's now finding his feet as well. He's actually matching Piastri for pace. So the fact that Oscar was just on it straight away, hustling every single lap, not giving Charles any breathing space, eventually forced the move around the outside. And it gives him at least third place, but he's dropping away from Norris. Norris is still dropping away from Verstappen. Closest battle remains Leclerc and Russell. DC, how frustrating is this for George Russell here? When you're in a car, you've got cornering speed, and every time you think this is going to be my chance, you just don't close at all on the straight.
Yeah, what you're hoping is that Charles Leclerc, who's driving the white line, especially into that braking zone at the second chicane, and he's on a little puff of dust there, he's taking a lot of risk to do the pace he's doing right now. So if I was Russell, I'd be like, what are the chances that he eventually gets caught out? So that's probably what he's hoping for right now, because even though he's in DRS, he just doesn't have the advantage in the right places to get close enough to make sure he can get the pass done.
It's a lot of laps just spent hoping that the guy ahead makes a mistake, isn't it? Just every lap you get back on the straight. We're actually just over a second away now with Russell. So Leclerc's doing a good enough job pushing the limits of the circuit. You can see him actually fighting the car slightly coming out of Parabolica, trying desperately to break clear of that DRS range.
This is good, nice and clean.
Yeah, I know that you would say that hope isn't really a strategy, but when you've run out of everything else, that becomes your best friend. So let's say if we just stay with this battle, just watch the line that Leclerc takes under braking into the second chicane. He is absolutely beyond the white line and pulling a little bit of dust on track.
Heading to the second chicane now. There you go.
Come on, look at that. He's taking advantage. There's a little bit of tarmac beyond the white line, and he's stealing all of it.
This is a guy that's won in Monza twice, though. He knows what to do here. He's had a few excursions through the weekend, mainly in practice, and he's found the limit, so now he seems to be driving on them every corner, every lap at the moment. But Russell will be seeing that and think, go on, another inch, and it hasn't happened yet for George. He's just dropping slowly away. Last lap, Norris was quicker than Verstappen for the first time since he's lost the race lead. Verstappen's trying to hit back on this time. Lando did the fastest middle sector of the race so far. So is there a tide turning here? Have McLaren been saving the tyres? Or can Max respond? I'll give you the answer, he can. Another fastest lap for Verstappen this time.
downforce track in Monza. And you know, what a difference a week makes.
Well, we're talking about the fact he hadn't been on the podium.
Lando, we will box this lap onto the soft tyre and I'll come up one.
You do want to box the other car first?
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll swap it round, so stay out.
Well, only if he doesn't undercut, otherwise I'll box first.
There will be no undercut.
Bad here last season. It was one of their worst races of the year. But yeah, this year, Silverstone, he was on pole and low downforce. We saw him have a great pace in Suzuka, which is trimming out the downforce a bit. Jeddah as well.
10-second time penalty for Oliver Behrman for causing a collision. That's gone to Behrman. Let's cover off Lando Norris. What's going on with Lando Norris here? What's going on with Lando Norris? A slow stop when it counts. A 5.9 second stop when it counts. And that is going to eradicate the advantage. Piastri has had access to the softer tyres.
We are boxing the cars this way round to ensure you cover Leclerc. You are free with Lando once he's ahead of the pit exit.
The slow stop has cost Lando Norris track position. Through goes Oscar Piastri. And what could have been a 13-point loss in the early stages of the Grand Prix is suddenly the championship lead being extended by 3.
Well, he joined that pit stop on a long lens, so we didn't actually see until now what went on. So front axle, service, the front left, you could see it took a while. They weren't sure. They went back at it.
Wasn't done up properly, was it? The left front. The wheel gun man moved away, but fancied another stab at it. So the wheel gun's not gripped properly. Then it goes on again.
Lando Norris with another moment of consequence. Piastri, for the first time all Grand Prix, is up to second position on tyres to take him to the end. And McLaren find themselves with an accidental change of position, and it's the championship lead extends to take him to the end.
We are boxing the cars this way round to ensure you cover Leclerc. You are free with Lando once he's ahead of the pit exit.
Another race, seemingly, where things beyond his control are affecting his run at this battle for the championship.
And all the back and forth on who was going to pit first, it shouldn't have mattered, because
you've done all of the hard work, so it should bring this home, no risk.
No risk, push.
He's great value.
He loves winding them up, doesn't he?
You can hear the smile on his face as he said that. GP's race engineer. In your picture, the person that you heard on the radio in conversation. It's going to be a really, really awkward debrief. Lando Norris losing more points in the World Championship. They were arguing about which order. Can he come and fight back on the racetrack? He was the lead McLaren for so long on this Grand Prix. He was the race leader in the early stages of the Grand Prix. 1.6 seconds between the pair of them.
Well, he can fight back. He certainly pulled a bit of time on this lap relative to Piastri. So Piastri needs to focus on 4 qualifying laps.
He's not far away from DRS range, is he, Lando? 1.4 seconds, if he can get that little bit closer.
Oscar, this is a bit like Hungary last year. We pitted in this order for team reasons. Please let Lando pass, then you're free to race.
I mean, we said that a slow pit stop was part of racing. So I don't really get what's changed here.
He's doing it.
But if he really went to do it, then I'll do it.
Team order issued. Team order listened to. Lando Norris given back the position, and the points will come down. It would have been 37. It's now going to be 31. Lando Norris restored to second place. And the fact they have to invoke Budapest last will come down.
You've done all of the hard work, so it should bring this home, no risk.
No risk, push.
That was the word I was going to use. It just feels uncomfortable, doesn't it? luck goes both ways, you know, that anyone can have a slow pit stop at any time. What happens in the next race if one of them has a slow pit stop? Do they manufacture these situations again? It's harsh on Lando because he's been the lead McLaren pretty much all weekend, but that's an organic situation in a race. Now they've orchestrated the switchback. It's kind of fair, but racing's not fair sometimes.
This is the Formula One.
Oscar, this is a bit like Hungary last year. We pitted in this order for team reasons. Please let Lando pass, then you're free to race.
I mean, we said that a slow pit stop was part of racing, so I don't really get what's changed here. But if we really went to do it, then I'll do it. We said that a slow pit stop was part of racing, so I don't really get what's changed here.
But if you think that's unfair, can we swap the positions? And McLaren were very much...
Thanks, Oscar. You're free to race. Clinical, clear head, mate.
If you think that's unfair, can we swap the positions? And McLaren were very much...
Thanks, Oscar. You're free to race. Clinical, clear head, mate.
But they are managing a lot.
Norris and Piastri have swapped places, Max.
Just because he had a slow stop?
Well, it's not our business, but I guess it keeps it fair between the drivers in terms of championship. You focus on the road ahead as well, please.
That's the race leader. Joining us effectively in the commentary box as a pundit. Extraordinary team radio message. Max Verstappen watching on the big screens, being informed by GP of the order and immediately offering his analysis.
Well, that's the capacity we were talking about at the beginning of the Grand Prix. It's a different racetrack this. You have time on these straights to, you know, observe, to take things in, to try and understand what your competitors are doing.
The other thing is, you know, McLaren they're very much open to their drivers racing. It's part of the strategy. There's a load more gravel on the exit there.
Someone's been off at the Rogers chicane fairly recently because that was not on the racing line the last time we went through that.
And they've obviously decided, according to Oscar's radio there, that a slow pit stop is fair game. It happens. We don't see it very often. That's why none of us were really thinking it might happen there in that pit stop phase. But it has happened, and they've decided before that should be fair game, apparently.
Yeah, but and I get that, and it's their team, and their focus is winning the Constructors' Championship. So we're sort of focused on get McLaren as Constructors' Champions, and then hopefully the gloves will be off. But where I think is uncomfortable is, given that this might be their one crack at it, one of them is going to be the world champion. I just think that as fans, we don't want to feel there's a sort of manipulation beyond the normal racing gods.
If you're one of our newer fans, DC had it up to his neck in McLaren team orders in the late 90s. Had to move over a couple of times for his teammate. It's quite big talking points then. It's going to be a big talking point about that decision. That is an intervention that McLaren didn't need to make. It was a clear management choice to swap them back.
Well, it's convenient that the person who's waving the flag is named Flag Waver, because it just makes that much easier, doesn't it, as a graphic?
We're on the penultimate lap of the Italia Grand Prix. You would have noticed Stroll, Ocon hadn't stopped. You have to, as per the rule book. They're able to take their tyres all the way to the very end. And they've now finally come into the pits. And it means that our order, we've been talking about the order of the podium. Charles Leclerc's going to be in 4th, George Russell in 5th, Lewis Hamilton climbing 4 places. Alex Albon climbing 7 positions to 7th place, having his best ever season in Formula One. Ultra competitive, whether it's high downforce or low downforce. The man who's going past in the World Championship classification is Kimi Antonelli. He's going to score points on debut. Points again for Gabriel Bortoleto and Isaac Hadjar. Pretty impressive stuff. Once again, we're going to see someone go from the pit lane to the points. He's up 9 positions in this Grand Prix. Final lap of the Grand Prix. Max Verstappen on a victory lap to savour, and he just set the best lap across the line as he logs the fastest lap. His partner Kelly looks on, and the prediction was earlier in the year, not going to win another race. Today, it has been, oh, he's gone past track limits, and Kimi Antonelli has been given a 5-second penalty. The official reason is for driving erratically, and Antonelli forcing Alex Albon onto the grass has cost him points at home. Well, the McLarens are managing the situation. They're still the top two in the World Championship. Oscar Piastri will lead the points battle by 31 points at the end of this one. But out of the Parabolica for the 53rd and final time to take a third win of the season, Max Verstappen wins the Italian Grand Prix. His third win here in 4 years, and surely his most satisfying one of the season. Way back, the dominant team of Formula One in 2025 had no answer to the Red Bull pace today. It's second place eventually for Lando Norris, and Oscar Piastri completes the podium and leads the World Championship by 31 points. Charles Leclerc 4 seconds back. Red Bull celebrating victory at Monza once again. They didn't think they'd be in this position, but Max Verstappen left them all behind.
Oh, mate. That's the Italian double. Fantastico. Well done, mate.
Yes! That was unbelievable, guys. Insane. Well done, everyone. Well done. You executed that really, really well. What an unbelievable weekend. We can be really, really proud of that. Well done, everyone.
Well, as they make their way through the runoff areas, it's traditional to pick up as much rubber as you can. No requirement to follow the track as they do their victory parade. So joy and happiness for Verstappen, taking the opportunities as always. And, well, there'll be a little bit of frustration, I'm sure, for McLaren.
Oscar, I appreciate that was pretty painful in a way, but I think you've done the right thing. We can talk about it after finish P3.
Yeah, a bit of a tough one. Once the rear calmed down a bit, then it was alright, but yeah, a bit lively for the race, but thanks to the effort, not the easiest of weekends, and yeah.
I can tell you on the radio, Lando Norris hasn't said one word on the radio since that pit stop.
And I think it's hard to argue this isn't the result that the drivers have merited here. I mean, Max has been in a league of his own. It was an amazing weekend for him. Lando's been a little bit better. And I think it's hard to argue.
Oh, mate. That's the Italian double. Fantastico. Well done, mate.
Yes! That was unbelievable, guys. Insane. Well done, everyone. Well done. You executed that really, really well. What an unbelievable weekend. We can be really, really proud of that. Well done, everyone. So, congrats. Congrats, everyone.
Yeah, Max Verstappen used to winning races with Red Bull, but that's a first Grand Prix victory secured for Laurent Mekies as team boss and CEO of Red Bull Racing. Fastest lap of the race went to Lando Norris at the end.
And Lando, apologies about the stop.
And he's still not said anything on the radio since the stop, is the information from our team radio department. Formation back to the pits for Ferrari.
Yeah, and that's my point. And Julian, you were building just for the team radios there to explain that absolutely factually correct. Lando looked like he had the upper hand. Oscar slightly on the back. Yeah, and that's my point. And Julian, you were
Oscar, I
building just for the
appreciate that was pretty painful in a way, but I think you've done the right thing. We can talk about it after finish P3.
Yeah, a bit of a tough one. Once the rear calmed down a bit, then it was alright, but yeah, a bit lively for the race, but thanks to the effort, not the easiest of weekends, and yeah.
On it. And you wonder now, there will be things that...
It's another masterclass you made. Max, what to say? 20 seconds on McLaren. Race pace, you had everything, race pace, control. Yeah, very, very proud. Well done, Max.
Yeah, well done. And first win for you two in the team, so congrats everyone.
Do you remember a couple of years ago when Max Verstappen won for fun, and sometimes he would barely lift an arm? You can tell by the reaction into the arms of the team.
And Lando, apologies about the stop.
Most famous racetracks, he has left everyone with a driving lesson this weekend. Fastest ever lap in Formula One qualifying yesterday, and he manages to win that Grand Prix in the end by 19 seconds.
Masterclass. You know, the question is always, who's the best driver in Formula One? Well, arguably right now, it's him.
Yeah, pinching a third win of the year. You can trust the fortunes of Japan when he had the McLarens right with him across the line, and an amazing first lap move in Imola that gave him the foundation. Piastri and Norris will both want answers from the team. Verstappen, Norris and Piastri, the top three in the 16th Grand Prix of the year. Charles Leclerc in 4th place, George Russell in 5th, Lewis Hamilton finishing in 6th position at Monza. And the rest of the points completed by Albon, Bortoleto. When the penalty was applied, positions lost. A couple of points to Kimi Antonelli, and Hadjar went from the pit lane to P10. Plenty to address after this Grand Prix in the post-show to understand why decisions were taken. Lewis Hamilton checking in with the team. I want more progress, but Zandvoort deciding things in Monza for him. Well, a rapid race. Davide Valsecchi is talking to the top three.
Oscar Piastri, 3rd position, congratulations. How was your race? Hard battle at the beginning with Leclerc that was very fast on the straight, and then how do you judge your race?
Yeah, difficult beginning, definitely. I think, you know, what maybe not my best first couple of laps, and then, yeah, we seemed to have pretty good pace for the first couple of laps compared to Charles, and then I could get past, and then, yeah, it was a pretty lonely race from there. So just struggled a little bit through the first part of the race. You know, the car wasn't exactly how I liked, and yeah, once the tyres went away, it actually felt a bit better, which is never a great sign. So yeah, happy with the points, and I'll take it.
And at the end, about the strategy, you tried something different using the soft at the end. The little problem that you had with the team, with your teammate, how was there?
Yeah, I mean, we went so long that the soft seemed like a good tyre to put on. And yeah, you know, we were just staying out for safety cars if we got any. But yeah, eventually Max got back into our pit window, so there wasn't any point staying out much longer. And yeah, little incident at the end, but that's okay.
Good points anyway for the championship. No risk at all during this weekend. I think it's fine.
Yeah, not a bad weekend. I think, you know, obviously would love the performance to have been a little bit better, but all in all, I think there's a lot of things to learn from this weekend. So yeah, happy going forwards, and yeah, we'll try and be stronger next week.
Thank you so much. Championship leader, Oscar Piastri. Congratulations. Lando Norris, what a great start, to be honest. What a great start. I have in mind, did you leave the throttle down there when you touched the grass, that you were close the door a bit too much, Max, or no?
A little bit. I had to, but I try to keep it, even on the braking to turn one. I tried to stay, but I always know it's going to be a good fight with Max, and it was. So enjoyable, but just not the speed today, not the pace of Max and the Red Bulls. So a tricky one of the first few weekends where we're just a bit slow. But it's still fun, still a good race, so I enjoyed it.
Yeah, we really enjoyed the first part of it, that's sure. Can you talk us through what happened at the end at the pit stop?
No, I don't know. I felt like I was there for quite a long time, but yeah, I guess every now and then, you know, we make mistakes as a team, so today was one of them.
And about the championship, what do you think? You were not lucky at all in the last weekend. Seems that this weekend everything was running in your direction, but then Red Bull and Verstappen quicker than you, second position. What do you think about the championship?
Yeah, I mean, I did everything I could today. You know, I couldn't do a lot more. I tried to fight against Max, but we had a good race, and he came out on top, and they deserved it. So nothing more, you know. Second was our best result, and I just need to keep doing what I'm doing.
Congratulations. Second position. Always a pleasure.
Thank you.
Lando Norris. Max Verstappen, race winner. What an unbelievable performance. After yesterday, that already was astonishing. Your lap, talk us through your race, because it was something, that performance was legendary, I think.
Yeah, it was a great day for us. Yeah, of course, that one was a bit unlucky, but then after that, we were flying. The car was, for me, really enjoyable. I could manage the pace quite well, tried that first stint. And I think, yeah, we pitted at the right time. Then, you know, with the hard tires at the end, you can push a bit more. They're a bit more resilient. And, yeah, just a fantastic execution by everyone, by the whole team. I think the whole weekend we were on it. And, yeah, it's, of course, super enjoyable to win here.
And tell me about the start. You were super hard, like always, like Max Verstappen. When you lost the leadership, have you got in mind that was possible for you to win this race anyway, or you had a bit of doubt? What it was in your mind at that time?
I could see that immediately the pace was quite good. I just needed to settle in. There was a lot of fighting going on. And then I could see the pace was there, and quite quickly we were back in the lead.
And about your car, seems that was perfect today. Do you think that you're going to have some more chances this year to let us enjoy your driving?
Well, we'll try for sure. You know, we'll go step by step, race by race. But for us, this, of course, was an unbelievable weekend.
Well done. Congratulations. Max Verstappen, the winner.
The winner and then some. 19 seconds ahead of the dominant champion team incoming of 2025. And a third bottle with a Max Verstappen signature. He's absolutely delighted. And well, he might be when he has come into the weekend. Wouldn't have been many predicting Max Verstappen as the winner, but he's delivered, and he's delivered brilliantly. Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri completing the podium. That's where they're heading at the moment. Our thanks to Davide Valsecchi for the questions to the top three. That's the moment. Max Verstappen was able to claim a third career win at Monza. So the question coming into today, would it be like Zandvoort, where the quali pace was fixed by the direction they went in with the setup, or would it be translated to the race? There is the answer. Into the arms of his team winners, Red Bull and Max Verstappen, for the third time this season. Cool down room time.
Try. No. They looked at it for a bit. And then they're like, oh, it's not.
Start with bit.
Not a penalty for that? That was nice, though. I wish they were mirrors.
Yeah, man, he was so quick on the straights, but so slow on the corners.
Ready? Fell off, or?
Yeah. Looked like I thought the suspension hurt.
What was he trying to do?
Did you see? I think it was this when.
This one, the yellow flag was it?
Yeah. I think. No, this. Oh, here we go. Oh no. Did you see on the big screen when they spun in turn 4?
Yeah, and I was like, no, come on, continue, please.
I was like, come on.
Yeah, get in the gravel, get in the gravel. Oh.
That's true.
They work pretty quickly, the signage department. Max Verstappen's name already on the wall of the cool-down room as the winner. Look at this. One of the most special sights in all of sport. That's the back straight heading to the Parabolica. But the main straight is full. The Ferrari flags are out once again. And one of the most special podiums of the season is ready to welcome its top three. Everyone into position. Not the Ferrari win that we had last year, but a masterclass all the same. Now Oscar Piastri finding himself with a 24th career podium. His 14th of the campaign. The expression tells the story. McLaren's greatest challenge today, other than keeping up with Max Verstappen, might be the debrief that they will hold in an hour's time. Lando Norris taking 3 points out of the championship lead. Second position for Norris, who climbs onto the podium. But he hadn't won since back in Imola. Max Verstappen on the top step in Monza. He's about to celebrate a win in Formula One for the 66th time.